I'm standing here across the street from Electronic Arts headquarters in Seoul, South Korea. I would take you inside, but I've been told if I get any closer, I might be arrested. Inside this building, at this very moment, employees are hard at work on EA's next big flop. Or are they? Because according to recent reports, EA's next big game might not be developed by the people in this building, or by humans at all, but by something far more sinister. Recently, a job listing was posted on EA's website for an AI engineer. Now, based on the job requirements, it's unclear whether they're looking for a real person or an actual AI robot. And although this job listing is kind of secretive about exactly what game this AI engineer will be working on, they seem to have made a grave mistake because the URL for the job listing tells us exactly what game it's for, something called Project X. Shit. Ring a bell? Well, in case you missed my previous video, we have reason to believe Project X is the next Sims game, the successor to The Sims 4. And by successor, I mean it appears to just be The Sims 4 but slightly better. So it's not really that exciting anyway, but I can tell you who is excited. This guy, EA babes. Because the next Sims game is being developed with generative AI, one of EA's favorite things. According to the job listing, they're developing an AI infrastructure and using AI technologies such as diffusion models and LLMs to create the next Sims game. That's right, folks, the future of The Sims is AI slop. But before we investigate further, a word from our sponsor. Thanks to CyberGhost VPN for sponsoring this video. It sounds kinda dark-sided, but the internet is actually crawling with malicious trackers and websites. Your internet provider, your work, even this massive phallic-shaped building. They're all watching your every move. That's why having a reliable VPN like CyberGhost is so important. With over 38 million users and 20,000 excellent reviews on Trustpilot, CyberGhost is one of the best VPNs out there. These days, you can't even look at cringe memes without being spied on. But luckily, CyberGhost encrypts your traffic and hides your IP, erasing all traces of your digital footprint and the memes. CyberGhost also unlocks geo-restricted games and content from over 40 streaming platforms like Netflix, Amazon Prime, and Disney+. You can even score better deals by changing your virtual location. CyberGhost works on all major devices and operating systems: Windows, Mac OS, Android, and iOS. You can also protect up to 7 devices at the same time, which means it's perfect for sharing with family or friends. But the best part is you can grab CyberGhost VPN today for a whopping 84% off. That's $2.03 a month plus 4 extra months free. They also have a 45-day money-back guarantee and 24/7 customer support, which means it's risk-free. So stop raw dogging the internet and join the 38 million CyberGhost users today by signing up using the link in the description. So now that we've established the next Sims game is being developed with generative AI, you might be asking, why does it matter? What's Malcolm upset about this time? If you haven't noticed, I've made quite a few videos about generative AI, and look, I do love having a nuanced discussion about things. I try to see the good and the bad in every situation, even with Andrew Wilson. That guy has a great, he could pull off a Patrick Bateman Halloween costume really well. But when it comes to generative AI, I just kind of feel like it really sucks. First, there's the human toll.
Between January and September 2025, there have been more than 946,000 job cuts announced.
That's the highest since 2020, and it's a 55% increase from what we saw last year through the same time period.
Generative AI is used to replace human artists, designers, musicians, voice actors, programmers, and probably more to come. And if you think I'm just making that up, you can find a multitude of articles and YouTube videos and TikToks from people who've lost their jobs because they're replaced by AI. Even the chairman of the US Federal Reserve came out a few weeks ago and said that there's zero job growth in the US, and he attributes that to AI. Generative AI benefits the executives and the shareholders of these companies and hurts everyone else.
Half of entry-level white-collar jobs disappearing and 10 to 20% unemployment in the next 1 to 5 years.
The extent to which we think it's affecting the economy and hiring is in graduate level, low-skilled jobs.
Sure, you can say AI is inevitable and it's the future, but you also can't deny the toll it's taking on real people. Then there's the environmental effects of its use.
Giant warehouses are popping up across the US, more than 2 every week. They feed AI algorithms, store photos, and answer our questions.
Generative AI relies on resource-heavy data centers in order to function. These massive data centers are cropping up everywhere, and just one of them can require more energy than an entire city.
A data center campus like this can consume as much power and water as an entire city.
This puts a massive strain on our resources and results in increased pollution and water scarcity, among many other things. So while Aunt Becky is on Facebook posting AI-generated photos of Donald Trump as Jesus, the Earth is dying. Any of the positive outcomes of generative AI are supplanted by the disastrous implications of its use. So when I see huge companies like EA so boldly embracing AI when it's not even necessary, I think it's very important to call that out. And when it comes to this new Sims game, here's what really bothers me. If EA and the Sims team have any understanding of the Sims player base at all, then they would know that a preponderance of Sims players are vehemently opposed to generative AI. The amount of times I've seen Sims players call out a Sims YouTuber or Sims CC creator because they're using generative AI. Just recently, people were complaining about the Sims team using AI upscaling in some of its promotional material. It's very clear that this community is not accepting of generative AI. And look, I don't blame them. For once, I agree with the Sims community. An even better example that proves this point is Inzoi. When it was revealed that Inzoi was using generative AI, Sims players reacted with disgust. Some people outright rejected the game and claimed they weren't even going to give it a chance.
People have been asking me if I'm going to play Inzoi this week, if I'm going to try Inzoi out, if I'm going to make an Inzoi video, and I'm not planning on playing Inzoi, at least right now. I would personally prefer them to just hire actual artists to make more patterns rather than, you know, create an in-game AI.
The Sims 4's most popular content creator, Lil Simsy, said she was turned off by the game's use of Gen AI.
I don't want to talk about Inzoi too much. And they also have generative AI in the game, and I'm really not into that either. Lots of bad vibes about that to me.
And to this day, there are Sims players who refuse to play that game because of this. So if the Sims team has even a modicum of understanding of how their players feel about generative AI, then why the hell are they using it to make the next Sims game? Are they completely out of touch? Do they just not give a damn? Do they believe the benefits of using it outweigh the negative repercussions? Perhaps it's all of the above. A closer look at EA's website reveals that this AI engineer role for Project X is one of many AI positions EA is currently trying to fill. There's job postings for an AI architect, an AI data manager, an AI designer, an AI data scientist, and even an AI counsel for the company's AI legal team.
You done lost your damn mind.
As a matter of fact, when I searched the keyword AI on their job forum, there were over 100 results. Even job postings like this one for a technical artist state that the employee is expected to use generative AI to complete their work. Are we understanding this? This is not about a one-off job posting. AI is ingrained in EA's work culture. But if you've been following my channel, you're aware that this isn't anything new for EA. In fact, I think this is just the beginning. EA recently partnered with Stability AI, the company behind Stable Diffusion, to quote, empower artists, designers, and developers to reimagine game development. I think that was a typo. I'm pretty sure they meant to write fire artists, designers, and developers. EA's CEO has spent the last few years preaching about the many benefits of generative AI.
This remarkable technology is not merely a buzzword for us. It's the very core of our business.
The company got caught using AI upscaling in their recent Plants vs. Zombies remaster. That is, after denying that they used any AI whatsoever. And recently, there was this bombshell report where they interviewed a handful of disgruntled EA employees who claimed management was forcing them to use AI for literally everything. It's crazy. According to the article, even the managers are using AI to negotiate promotions and salary increases for employees. Imagine your manager asking ChatGPT if they should give you a promotion, or you ask your boss for a raise and they respond with an AI written denial. I would be on the 5 o'clock news, deadass, if that happened to me. I mentioned the Sims competitor Inzoi earlier, and I think it's a great case study for what's to come with EA and the Sims. I went more in depth about this in a video, but let me just break it down for you. First, they announced they're becoming an AI-first company. Then they implement a hiring freeze, which means they're not hiring any new people. And then they start encouraging employees to quit their jobs via this resignation program, which is actually a common tactic that Korean companies use. But the important thing to note here is that they're not replacing the workers who resign with cheaper or even more skilled employees. They're replacing them with AI. The scary part about all of this is that these employees are oftentimes training their own replacements. When companies like EA or Krafton start encouraging employees to use AI for everyday tasks, they're testing the waters to see how much they actually need those people to do their jobs. If they see the majority of your work can be done with AI, the higher-ups start viewing you as replaceable. So while I feel for the employees at EA, for instance, who will inevitably lose their jobs, as an employee, you also have to realize that if you're using AI to do your job, you're simply digging your own grave. Regardless of all that, I think it's clear that EA is actually following in Krafton's footsteps, and that's not a good thing. Krafton's inZOI has really cheapened itself by using generative AI. There's a reason the game feels so soulless. It's pretty on the surface, but when you look closer, you realize that all the environments are chock full of AI-generated art and textures, and it doesn't add to the immersion, it breaks it. I really do think the same thing will be happening with Project X. There's a common rebuttal I hear from people who defend game companies using generative AI. They claim it's the future and it's unavoidable, but that's only if you, the consumer, accepts it. And I don't understand the people who rush to the defense of the companies that are using generative AI. But I've seen that a lot recently, case in point, inZOI fans. And they say things like, but the AI is optional. If you don't like the AI features, you don't have to use them. Every time I see someone say that, I lose brain cells, because what they don't understand is that the AI is already in the game. The damage was done before the game was even released, when they used generative AI in the game's development. The damage has already been done. The jobs have already been lost. The environmental damage has already been dealt. There's no, well, you don't have to use it, it's too late. But circling back to The Sims and Project X, my question for the Sims community is this. Now that we know generative AI is being used in the development of the next Sims game, what are you going to do? Just a couple hours ago, this image came out that apparently is a leak of Project X. It just shows some characters lined up. I don't know if this is real or not. People think it's real, but who really knows? But so far, the reaction to this has been quite positive. People are like, I love how the characters look. This is amazing. All of you who were so quick to criticize and dismiss inZOI because it uses AI should be doing the same with this game. As much as I agree with a lot of the Sims community and content creators like Lil Simsy, they also need to realize the call's coming from inside the house. You have to be equitable in your application of critique. If you're going to criticize inZOI for using Gen AI, then you also have to criticize The Sims and Project X for doing the same thing. Otherwise, you're a hypocrite. The game doesn't get a pass just because you like it. That's not how this works. You know, it's really amazing to think how The Sims started as this passion project by an indie dev, and as new iterations released over time, the games became more and more ambitious, but now, with The Sims 4 and Project X, the franchise has become a shell of what it once was. And the fact that it's now devolved into AI slop is just embarrassing. But you know what's not embarrassing? Getting 84% off CyberGhost VPN. That's $2.03 a month. The last time something was that cheap, I was a poor college student just trying to pay tuition. It's risk-free, easy to use, and you can unblock any block content on the internet. So use the link in the description to get CyberGhost VPN today. Wow, to think Andrew Wilson might be in this building right now pretending to work.